Imagine waking up one morning excited to spend time with your grandchildren, only to discover that a sharp, unexpected pain in your hip makes even standing a struggle. This happened to a close friend of mine, Grace, when she was 67. She had always considered herself relatively healthy. She ate balanced meals, took walks, and kept up with her monthly social gatherings. But one day, as she bent slightly to pick up a small box, she felt a sudden pop. Her leg gave out, and she ended up with a fractured hip that sidelined her for months. Doctors eventually traced the issue back to declining bone density, a problem they said could have been caught early with a simple test she never thought she needed. The emotional blow that came with her physical recovery was almost as devastating as the pain itself. Suddenly, she feared every step and every movement, haunted by the worry that her bones had become too fragile to trust. It is easy to dismiss the occasional aches and stiffness of aging as a normal part of life. Many seniors do precisely that, believing it is nothing more than a passing discomfort. Yet hidden behind these minor complaints could be the weakening of your bones, silently inching you closer to a serious fracture. Losing mobility in your golden years means sacrificing independence, missing out on family celebrations, and living with an underlying sense of fear that your body might betray you at any moment. The stakes are incredibly high. Once you suffer a major fracture, the chance of a full return to your previous lifestyle can decrease dramatically. This is especially true for seniors over 65, whose bones may already be losing density faster than they realize. The real tragedy is that it does not have to happen this way. With the right guidance and awareness, you can protect and even strengthen your bones well into your 70s, 80s, and beyond. In the next few minutes, you will learn 5 critical insights that most older adults never hear about when it comes to maintaining bone density and preventing fractures. These are not difficult or unrealistic steps. You do not need fancy equipment, unusual supplements, or drastic diet changes. Yet each tip could mean the difference between living with constant worry about your bones or moving through your day with confidence and ease. Make sure you stay with me until the very end, because the final piece of advice might change your entire approach to bone health. It is something that even many doctors overlook, but it has saved countless seniors from painful breaks and long, frustrating recoveries. Doctors and specialists are finally recognizing the urgency of this issue. They are sounding the alarm that ignoring routine bone density tests after 65 is not just a small oversight. It can be a serious mistake that sets you up for fractures that might otherwise have been avoided. The good news is that you are about to gain a better understanding of what really causes bone density to drop, how to spot warning signs, and most importantly, what to do about it. This information comes from years of collected insights from medical practitioners and seniors who have seen firsthand just how transformative even small actions can be. Before we dive deeper, if you have not done so already, consider subscribing and turning on notifications so you never miss any of our upcoming conversations on senior health. If you feel this information might help someone else you care about, please let me know in the comments. Type 1 if you find this valuable, or type 0 if you feel otherwise. I appreciate any feedback that helps me create more helpful videos for you. Now let us begin by exploring the first of our 5 key insights about bone density, fractures, and how to protect yourself from unexpected breaks that can upend your life. The first major point is this: you might not actually feel your bones weakening until it is too late. This might sound like a scary exaggeration, but it is a truth that defies what many seniors assume. Too often, people think that a simple ache or stiffness is their biggest concern. They believe that if something were seriously wrong with their bones, their body would send a clear signal. In reality, bone loss is often a silent process that offers few warning signs until a fracture happens. Take Margaret, who is 74. She considered herself active for her age, strolling around her neighborhood most mornings and enjoying a bit of light gardening. She had minor aches in her hips but chalked it up to normal aging. What she did not know was that her bone density had dropped far below what is considered safe. Her doctor would later tell her that she was teetering on the edge of a serious break, something that a quick bone density test would have revealed years earlier. The misconception here is that our bones somehow scream out loud when they are in danger. But for many seniors, bone thinning happens so gradually that you barely notice the subtle changes in your posture or how easily you bruise. The surprising reality is that most fractures are not the result of dramatic falls or big accidents. They can happen during the most ordinary activities like gently twisting while stepping off a curb or reaching up to get a plate out of the cupboard. One small move in the wrong direction can create a sudden snap. The truth is that routine bone density tests can catch these hidden warning signs while there is still time to correct them. Yet too many older adults skip this vital screening, thinking they will wait until there is a real problem. Here is a simple piece of advice. If you are 65 or older, ask your healthcare provider about a bone density test at your next checkup. It is quick, painless, and could save you from months of immobilization or a hospital stay in the future. Some insurance plans fully cover these tests, and even if they do not, the cost is often worth the peace of mind. The emotional benefit of taking this point to heart is huge. When Margaret finally got her bone density test results, she felt a wave of relief that she now knew what was going on. There was a clear reason for the dull ache in her hips and a path to fix it. Yes, she worried about the next steps, but she also felt empowered. Instead of living in ignorance and hoping for the best, she found solutions to strengthen her bones through targeted exercise, dietary changes, and regular check-ins with her doctor. That sense of empowerment, of being in control of your own body and future, may be one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself in your senior years. Moving on to the second important insight, the role of nutrition in bone health is far more critical than most people realize, and calcium pills alone are not the magic bullet many believe them to be. It is easy to assume that a daily calcium supplement is enough to keep your bones strong. The trouble is that calcium does not work in isolation. Consider Frank, who is 72 and has been faithfully taking calcium for decades. He believed that was all he needed. But when he finally had a bone density test, the results showed worrisome thinning in his spine. This was baffling, especially since he had followed standard advice for years. It turned out he was missing several nutrients that help the body actually absorb and utilize calcium, including vitamin D, magnesium, and vitamin K2. The conventional wisdom tells us to focus on calcium, and while it is definitely important, many seniors skip the foods and nutrients that make calcium truly effective. If your body cannot distribute calcium to the right places, it ends up in places you do not want it, such as your arteries. Even people who get enough calcium sometimes end up with weak bones because they lack the supporting cast of vitamins and minerals that direct calcium into the bones and keep it from building up elsewhere. The real secret is a holistic approach. Think about adding foods rich in vitamin D like certain fish and mushrooms, as well as leafy greens for magnesium. A variety of vegetables and maybe a bit of fermented foods for vitamin K2 can also play an essential role. Here is the surprising truth. You might be consuming enough calcium, but still losing bone density if your body cannot use it properly. In Frank's case, once he added magnesium and vitamin K2 to his routine, along with carefully timed sun exposure for vitamin D, he saw improvements in his bone density test over the course of a year. He also discovered he had more energy overall, which in turn motivated him to stay active. Another key component of strong bones. A practical tip you can implement is to have a weekly meal plan that includes at least 2 servings of fatty fish, like salmon or sardines, daily portions of leafy greens or legumes, and some mushrooms when possible. If you live in a region with limited sunlight, talk to your healthcare provider about vitamin D supplementation. It does not take a massive overhaul to see real benefits. Small tweaks in your diet can shift your bone health toward a better direction, giving you greater confidence and physical resilience. If you have found these insights helpful so far, take a moment to type the number 2 in the comments to let me know you are still here. And if you have not subscribed yet, consider doing that now so you do not miss the next strategies that could literally save you from a life-altering fracture. Your engagement truly helps in creating content that serves you and others looking to maintain an active, healthy lifestyle as they age. Let us now discuss the third crucial insight, the power of targeted weight-bearing and resistance exercises, and why many seniors overlook them out of fear of injury. It is common to believe that after a certain age, exercise should be gentle, such as light walking or mild stretching. While gentle movement is certainly better than being sedentary, it often is not enough to maintain optimal bone density. Bones thrive under the right kind of stress. the type that encourages them to rebuild and reinforce themselves. This might sound counterintuitive, but your skeleton is a living, adaptive system. If you never challenge it, it assumes it does not need to stay strong. Think about Lois, 79, who was deeply afraid of lifting anything heavier than a small grocery bag. She had heard horror stories of people pulling muscles or tearing ligaments, and she did not want to risk a fall. So she stuck to slow walking and the occasional seated exercise class. Over the years, however, her bone density continued to decline. After a minor fall left her with a fractured wrist, she decided to meet with a physical therapist who introduced her to simple, gradual resistance exercises using light dumbbells and resistance bands. At first, Lois was terrified, but with proper guidance, she realized these exercises were not as dangerous as she had imagined. In fact, she started to feel stronger. Within months, her improved muscle strength offered better balance, and further scans showed her bone density had stabilized for the first time in years. A common misconception is that if you have never done strength training in your life, it is too late to start. But studies and countless real-life examples show that even in your 70s or 80s, introducing moderate resistance can trigger bone-building improvements. You do not need to become a bodybuilder. Even a small dumbbell workout twice a week or gentle exercises with bands can make a meaningful difference. The key is consistency and proper form. Always consult a fitness professional or a physical therapist experienced in working with seniors if you are unsure how to begin. The emotional benefit here is regaining a sense of capability. Instead of viewing yourself as frail or past your prime, you realize you can still teach your bones and muscles to grow stronger. This shift in mindset often spills over into other areas of life, from how you walk down the street to how you socialize. Lois, once afraid to carry more than a light grocery bag, now easily handles her groceries with confidence, and she even joined a friend on a weekend trip without worrying about keeping up. The fourth insight builds on exercise but addresses a surprising stumbling block. Too many seniors overlook the power of balance training and posture alignment. They think that if they can still walk from the car to the store, their balance must be fine. The reality is that subtle changes in posture, gait, and balance often set the stage for unexpected falls that might otherwise be avoidable. You might notice that you lean slightly forward when you walk, shuffle your feet more than you used to, or lose your balance when turning quickly. These are silent red flags that your musculoskeletal system is not as stable as it once was. Take the story of Harold, 83, who had never paid much attention to how he walked or stood. He always assumed he moved just fine because he got around without much help. However, an evaluation at his local senior center revealed that his posture had gradually become hunched. When he walked, he led with his shoulders rather than standing upright. This posture shift had weakened certain core muscles that keep the spine and pelvis stable. After a balanced training course that included simple exercises like standing on one foot next to a chair for support, and posture drills that encouraged him to keep his ears, shoulders, and hips aligned, Harold noticed a huge improvement in his overall stability. He was shocked to discover that his occasional near falls were not random at all, but rather a sign that his body was out of alignment. The misconception here is that balance is only an issue for people who already have trouble walking. In truth, balance and posture training can benefit anyone at any age, but it becomes particularly vital after 65. Falls are one of the most common causes of fractures in seniors, and even a small misstep can have huge consequences if you are not steady on your feet. Working on alignment also helps ensure that your bones are bearing weight correctly, which can aid in maintaining bone density. A practical step is to do a daily posture check. Stand against a wall with your heels, back, and head touching it. Notice how that alignment feels and then try to maintain that posture when you walk away from the wall. Simple exercises like single leg stands, with support nearby, or slow heel-to-toe walks in a straight line can significantly sharpen your balance. Many community centers offer free or low-cost classes focusing on balance, Tai Chi, or yoga adapted for seniors. These activities do not just help your bones and muscles. They can also boost your confidence and reduce fear of falling. If you are still following these insights and find them useful, please comment the number 4 below. Doing so helps me know that you are gaining value from this discussion, and it also supports our mission to bring more awareness to bone health for seniors everywhere. Now let us look at the fifth and final point, something almost no one talks about when it comes to bone health: the impact of chronic stress and sleep quality on bone density. This might sound odd because we often think of bone issues as purely physical or nutritional. However, the mind and body are deeply interconnected. Chronic stress can release hormones like cortisol, which in high levels over time can contribute to bone loss. Meanwhile, poor sleep can disrupt the natural repair processes your bones need. We have the example of Carmen, 68, who was meticulous about her diet and exercised regularly. Yet her bone density test showed she was on the borderline of osteoporosis. She was perplexed. Then her physician asked about her stress levels and sleep patterns. Carmen admitted she was caring for her husband, who had health issues, and barely got 5 hours of broken sleep each night. She also experienced chronic anxiety about finances. She was constantly on alert, feeling her heart race and her mind spin well into the night. Her doctor explained that chronic stress can alter calcium absorption and bone remodeling. To address this, Carmen began a stress management program that included guided meditation, gentle stretching before bed, and implementing a regular sleep schedule. She even sought help from a counselor to manage her caregiving stress. Over the following year, not only did her bone density tests show modest improvements, but she also felt more emotionally balanced. It is a misconception to think that bone health only depends on external factors like exercise, diet, and medication. Your internal environment matters just as much. High stress and lack of quality rest can erode your overall health, making it harder for your body to keep bones strong. Even if you are diligent about nutrition, ignoring your mental well-being can sabotage your progress. A practical step is to make sleep hygiene a priority. Have a consistent bedtime, avoid heavy meals and caffeine before bed, and if you find your mind racing at night, practice slow, deep breathing exercises or listen to calming music. If stress feels overwhelming, consider talking to a healthcare provider or counselor. Sometimes even short-term therapy can help break the cycle of chronic stress. Embracing better stress and sleep habits offers more than just physical benefits. It can bring an emotional sense of peace and resilience. Many seniors who used to lie awake worrying find they can approach daily challenges with a calmer mindset, which in turn helps them stick to a healthy routine. It is a profound shift from always feeling on edge to waking up more refreshed, ready to care for both your bones and your overall well-being. We have covered 5 transformative insights that can protect you from debilitating fractures and help you enjoy a more active, confident life. Recognizing silent bone loss, understanding the limits of calcium and the importance of supporting nutrients, adding resistance exercises safely, improving balance and posture, and managing stress and sleep. These strategies come together to form a powerful approach for seniors who are determined to maintain their independence and vitality. Take a moment to imagine how these changes could play out in your day-to-day life. Picture waking up with a sense of energy instead of dread, stepping confidently onto your feet because you know your bones and balance have been well cared for. Envision the joy of playing with your grandchildren or pursuing hobbies without the nagging fear that one small misstep could land you in the emergency room. Every piece of advice we have covered can bring you closer to that reality, but the time to act is now. Bone density issues will not wait, and ignoring them can lead to a downward spiral that is tough to reverse. Which of these 5 points resonated with you the most? Perhaps you realize you have been avoiding resistance exercises because of fear, or maybe you see that stress has taken a bigger toll on your body than you thought. Take a moment to reflect on how these insights fit into your unique situation. Each strategy is a stepping stone, and you do not have to tackle them all at once. Even picking 1 or 2 changes to start with can shift the trajectory of your bone health. I encourage you to share one thing you have learned today in the comments below, along with how you plan to apply it. Your story could inspire another senior who is on the fence about getting a bone density test or who might be neglecting their nutrition. If you enjoyed this conversation and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share with someone who might also benefit from hearing these insights. Your support not only helps this channel, it fosters a community of empowered seniors who are taking charge of their health. Together, we can spread awareness and prevent fractures that too often steal the joy from what should be fulfilling and active later years. Thank you for sharing this time with me, and I look forward to hearing about your journey towards stronger bones and greater confidence. You hold the power to change your own story. That power might begin with something as simple as scheduling a test or doing a few gentle strength exercises. In taking these steps, you reaffirm your ability to shape your own well-being. I appreciate your presence here, and I hope you walk away feeling not only informed, but also inspired to embrace these changes. Remember, it is never too late to take control of your health and live life on your terms.